Hello, Richard. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you too, Yiannis.
Thank you. And today we have the pleasure to be with Mr. Richard Yoshida, one of the two owners of Macintosh Appraisals here in New Westminster. And my name is Yiannis of Lions Mortgages. I have to say that of all the appraisal firms I know in the Lower Mainland, Macintosh Appraisals is in the top two, and it's a pleasure to be here today with Mr. Richard Yoshida. So thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate that. And I'm going to start with some questions so that we can answer as many of the thoughts that are on the minds of the public at this time of the year, based on a market that is changing very rapidly. First of all, can you please tell me for how long has Macintosh been in business?
Well, Macintosh has been in business for about 25 years, me and Stuart Macintosh, as partners. He had his company before that, and I had a company before that too, for probably 10 years or more before that, before we got together. And then we formed Macintosh. So yeah, we've been doing it now for about, just almost 25 years together. Yeah.
Thank you, I appreciate that. And could you please tell me, Richard, what separates Macintosh from other residential and commercial appraisal firms? Because there is many firms in the Lower Mainland, and lenders have a plethora of choices. But what would be unique about Macintosh compared to all the other firms?
Well, in my opinion, it's just that we are a company that's going to give you a true value of the property and not be swayed one way or the other by the broker, by the realtor, by the owner. We just do what we get our comparables, and we just do the adjustments on the comparables, and whatever that comes out to, it comes out to. We don't make the numbers up. We just get the sales of other properties to compare it to that. We analyze them very carefully, and that is our opinion of the property. And that's what actually separates us, is because of the adjustment process. Most companies do not know how to adjust when you're making the adjustments. And that's the most important part about the appraisal, because it's the comparison approach, not the cost. Okay, not the cost, it's market, which is comparison approach of other houses selling. Okay, and therefore that's why we consider ourselves to be one of the top companies to do this analysis properly.
Yes. Is it safe to say that most government entities use your help compared to the amount of work they have to do, like Canada Revenue, etc.?
Oh yeah, well, everybody does. Everybody knows us in this town now. I'm sure everybody knows us by now because we've been here so long. And I used to do seminars for the major banks all the time on a regular basis. So that was also the reasoning for it, as to they picking me because they want me to do, explain all their appraisal reports to all their lenders.
Okay.
And like I was saying to you before, Yiannis, about using that and using the appraisal report as a marketing tool, which no other company has even gone there. Okay. Right. And that's why they were actually kind of shocked when I said that to them. Because they were saying, what are you talking about? See, they don't understand.
That's right.
Yes.
Sometimes they have to be educated by a very experienced appraiser to understand the value.
Yes, to know that and use that as a marketing tool, not just look at it as an appraisal.
That's right.
Yeah. That's
right. Thank you. Thank you. And I understand that you have been at least for 35 to 40 years in the appraisal field. How many down cycles you have seen in your real estate appraisal life?
Well, only one major one, which is 1981.
Okay.
Okay, in 1981, that was the major slide. Okay, and then it really didn't hit until basically 2008 when Lehman's Bank went down. Okay, and then that's when another major hit here. But really, other than that, no. And it's been actually uncanny, because cycles of real estate normally go from 7 to 11 years.
Okay.
Okay, that's their cycle. We were way beyond that. So it didn't make any rhyme or reason. I kept telling everybody, oh, it's going to go down, but it never did. I always lost even bets with guys like you. Yeah, brokers are saying, oh yeah, well you keep telling me it's going down, it's not going down, it's going up, see? And that's because it didn't, there was no rhyme or reason for the amount of income that the average Canadian makes to afford these prices of what the real estate's doing today. And that's why I said it has to correct. It can't keep going, because otherwise then there's not going to be any local people living here. It's just going to be all from the outside, rich people coming here, and that's it.
From around the
Yeah,
globe.
and you can't live here because you're not rich.
That's right. That's right. Yes, we
That's
do have
all.
many wealthy
Yeah.
investors from around the world. We do.
Yes, we do.
We do, yes, yes, thank you. And what is your opinion on the current state of the real estate market in the Lower Mainland overall? Is it stable? Is it declining
No, it is.
rapidly?
It is declining, and it's declining at a pretty good rate right now. Right now, basically the upper end properties, upper end meaning over about 2.5 million and up. Once you get up there about 10 million, they are really getting hit hard. They're getting hit to about 25% or greater than what they were selling for. And then as you come down in price, it gets less and less and less, because there's more demand for cheaper properties, because that suits more of the people, like young people, right? Anybody, investors, older people that want to invest even, see? So it encompasses everybody that way.
Okay. So a property that is priced around the $900,000 mark in Abbotsford is safe.
Well, no, in Abbotsford it's not really that safe. It's coming down out there too. But if you say 900,000 for Vancouver,
Okay.
then that's safe.
Okay.
Okay? If you say 600,000 for Surrey, that's safe. Okay? But you see, it gets less and less as you go out. But it doesn't mean the demand drops off differently. It's basically the same all the way around once it hits a certain level of income and level of what the purchase price of the property is. Okay, in other words, if it's under $1 million now, a lot of people can afford it, right?
Okay.
And therefore there's way more demand.
Yes.
Okay, and therefore there is less of an adjustment, you see, coming down in that range. And that's why apartments, like when the market's escalating up, for instance, single family was taking the big lead.
Right.
After that, half duplexes would follow, then townhouses, then condos. Okay, and then when it tips, it goes that way again. The single family goes harder. Then half duplexes, then townhouses, and then condos, because they're the cheapest.
Yes.
They're the most demand, because they're the very cheapest.
Yes.
So that's why. That's why it trends to not fluctuate as readily as the rest of the market, because it's at a lower rate and more people, there's more demand for it, and it still is moving. A lot of that stuff is moving a lot more than the other stuff.
Yes.
Okay?
Thank you. Are the recent increases in values of townhouses and apartments sustainable, based on the fact that people couldn't afford homes and they had to buy a townhouse?
Exactly.
Or an apartment?
They were forced into that because of the single family started getting over $1 million. And once it starts doing that, who can afford that? So now you have to think about a half duplex. Or you got to think of a townhouse now, see? And that's where they went. And then notching down from that even, right? But yeah, that's why there was a big demand for that, right? That's why in Surrey, everything else went down except for townhouses and condos. They kept going up when the market was going down.
Yes.
Because see, everybody flipped off of single family detached to go to attached townhomes.
Right.
So the demand raised and the price raised during this down market. But now everything's leveled off. See, now everything is leveling off.
So
see?
should we
Just a matter of time, right?
So should we expect a correction on townhouses and apartments?
Oh yeah, it's coming in now too. Oh yeah, we're seeing that now for sure. Yeah, well, there's a correction already now.
Okay.
Yeah, they are down now. There is an adjustment now for any of that stuff now. And the lower stuff, for instance, like under between like say 400,000 to $1 million, that stuff in a time adjustment for us right now is we're barely going like just 1% to maybe 2% a month. Okay, and that's our time adjustment that we're using right now for the market being softening. Okay. And then when I say properties that get over 2 million, that will increase. There's going to be more of an adjustment. That'll be 2 to 3%. Okay, because it gets more drastic the higher priced it gets.
Yes. Yes.
Simply because less people can look at it.
Absolutely.
Less demand.
Less affordability on
Less
those
affordability for sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. What are the main factors that are affecting real estate price and demand in the lower mainland and BC in general, in your opinion, at this point, Richard?
The main factors. Well, I'm just thinking that everything is demand. Okay, so the demand has been cut off from Asia. Okay, and also we have placed ourselves now in the top 2 or 3 highest priced real estate in the world, and that has an effect.
Right.
That definitely has an effect. So if you get cut off now from the foreign investments, which has happened here, and the taxing, then that's why the market started to implode.
And the government rules.
And the government, yeah, is forcing that on people like that to pay the tax and this and that. Well, any more money that you got to pay to the government is going to lessen demand. And once that happens, the market could collapse. And that's what's going on here. But it had to correct anyways because, like I said, these prices were ridiculous as to what everybody makes, you know, as to everybody's income. You know, what do they say about an average income? Yiannis, of a married couple, as income is probably no more than 100 grand.
90 to 100.
Okay, see? Now think about that. Can you buy $1 million property with that?
You cannot.
That's right. You cannot.
You cannot.
You cannot. You won't qualify. You won't qualify for your mortgage.
Only if you go through a private lender and you will pay.
Yeah.
You will pay an exorbitant amount of money.
That's right. That's right. See?
Only that.
That's the only way.
It's not sustainable.
That's right.
It's not sustainable. No. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. What is your opinion on market trends and prices on single-family homes, townhouses, and apartments for the next 18 months based on the current trend?
Well, on the current trend right now, I believe anyways, in my opinion, that it's still going to go down, and it's still going to go down for at least another year or 2, in my opinion. But here's the big, where it's going to show, and it's going to show this spring. In the spring market, if it gets busy in the spring, it could stabilize. If it doesn't, it's going to go down, and then after that, it's going to slide really good, in my opinion. That's my opinion. That's how I saw it in 1981. Okay, they just literally crashed. But it's not that big of a crash yet as compared to 81, in my opinion. But it could get there, and if it gets there, these got a long ways left to go down yet.
Okay.
Because let's face it, you're still paying $1 million for a house in Coquitlam, a single-family detached. Well, that's outrageous. Let's face it.
Yes.
You know, so there's plenty of room for it to come down. There's no room left now for it to go up because of the demand, so it has to come down.
Right.
But how far? And I think it's going to go to where it can be, it can relate to the income that people make. So in other words, if you're making that 100,000, you should be able to buy something for, say, 700,000 and qualify.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and that's where I think it's got room left to go. So there's still lots of room, in my opinion, for these properties to decline.
So the spring and summer market are going to determine whether the market will either stabilize or fall further down.
That's right. That's right. And it's going to show right away. If there's not going to be any demand this spring, watch out.
Okay.
Watch out. That's going to tell it. And no one else has the crystal ball except for that.
That's a great tip for all the people that watch us at this time. Yes.
And right now I wouldn't buy nothing.
Okay.
If you're just buying,
Yes.
don't buy. If you're buying and selling right now, it's okay. Okay, because you're still within the same market. You're buying in the same market, selling in the same market.
Right.
But if you're just selling right now, that'd be good too because it's going down.
That's right.
If you're just buying right now, no, I would not just buy right now.
Okay.
No, do not just buy right now.
I do have some specific questions that will give
Yeah.
some crystal clear answers
Yeah, okay,
to the viewers.
Okay, but
because,
that's just the, you know, in general, that's what I
Yes.
would do right now.
Yes.
Okay, and there's other people that could say, well, yeah, buy now, Rich, because if it's listed for $1 million, I'm going to offer $750.
Okay.
Okay, well, yeah, if you get it for that, okay, well, then you're not doing bad. But still, even at that right now, I'm saying, even to my partner, that may not work.
Okay.
Okay, because it still might come down below that.
Okay.
You know what I mean, see?
Yes. Yes. You're looking at the long.
So yeah, but I said that's a better way to approach it though. If you are in a rush and you want to buy now, yeah, low ball for sure, really low ball.
Okay.
You know, because some of these buyers, they have to sell. They have to.
Some people have
You know, you have to. They've moved, they bought another house, they have to sell.
That's right. they're moving to a different province,
Yeah.
they have to sell.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or they're getting transferred, or who knows, or they're just leaving here because it's too expensive.
That's right, that's right.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, that's gold, I think, for consumers that would like to know what you really think about
Yeah, that's
what
yeah.
is happening right now.
That's in the market.
Thank you. And when do you expect the market to level off for the most part? Because nobody has a crystal ball, but what would be your estimate?
Well, see, in the 81, it didn't level off till basically about 85.
Okay.
84, 85, I would think, somewhere in there, maybe even longer. But see, it was gradual, see, gradual. It's not going to be a fast comeback, it's going to be gradual,
Okay.
in my opinion. It's not going to be booming comebacks, it's going to be gradual when it comes back again, and then steadily climb again. And that's the trend of real estate.
Would it be safe to say that by the beginning to middle of next year, we may see the market leveling off? Would that be safe as an estimate?
Well, yeah, maybe, but still, see, I don't want to say one way or the other, because I've been wrong so many times with this market now.
It's
You know,
hard.
nobody can sort of predict it, right? Yeah. So you just have to go with, the sales are going to tell you. The demand of sales are going to tell you what this market's going to do. And see, nobody knows it.
And it's really probably foreign investors that are going to determine how quickly our market bounces back, because the internal demand has probably reached its peak.
And the only way you'd buy real estate right now, Yiannis, is this income properties, because you got money coming in. As long as that handles the mortgage, you're okay. You see what I mean? So it's irrelevant to what everything else is doing. So as long as you got that income, you're okay that way. If it's revenue producing property, you see. But if it isn't, then it's holding property, and then it can get pretty expensive
Yes.
to hold it, you see. Especially on a sliding market.
So you would highly recommend an apartment building as a better investment right now compared to anything else?
Well, yeah, less of a loss, put it that way. You're gonna lose less.
Yes.
That's how I see it, so,
Yes.
yeah. You're still gonna lose though, in my opinion, with an apartment building, but not as much.
Despite all the reports from CBRE and all the
Yeah, because
commercial
see,
firms?
it always works this way, yes. The highest priced property gets hit the hardest
Okay.
in a sliding market. Like I said, the properties in West Van that were 15 million got hit 25%. That's huge, see, taken off there. Whereas you go to Coquitlam now and the average single family home is 1.5, well that might be, 5%. See what I mean?
Right,
Compared to 25% of the upper end stuff.
correct. In West Vancouver for
Yeah.
10 million.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right.
Or anywhere for that matter. We did Surrey, you got big properties there too. Or anywhere for like, that kind of millions, they're going to be nailed. Like the acreage properties out there in Surrey that are worth, like 14 million that we just did on one. Well, that's off 2 million bucks. It was 16 million, now it's 14 million.
So we're going to see on high-end
And then we're even thinking it's even less than that right now, that we gave them the benefit of the doubt, that should be 13 million.
Okay,
You see?
so 25%.
Yeah, so see, that applies to a lot of them that are up there in that price range, not just West Vancouver, okay? It's once you get up there in that price range, because there's way less demand.
You may have a $5 billion
Yeah.
mansion in Abbotsford that will come down harshly now.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. That's right.
Okay,
Okay?
okay, thank you, appreciate that. Should investors focus on flipping houses, invest in the current
No,
market
no.
since their timetable is about 6
No,
to 9
well,
months?
yeah, but right now, no flipping right now. Well, unless you're, I don't know, unless you got horseshoes right now, I wouldn't even attempt flipping right now because it's going down. How are you going to do that? Even if you renovated it, you're going to lose, you see.
Right,
So yeah, if you got a stable market you renovate, you can make, but not on this. You can't. Declining like that, no, don't invest.
Even if you buy a foreclosure, still very risky.
No, because even the foreclosure now too, and you know what? You don't even know with the foreclosure. That's what's the problem with the foreclosure. That's why we give the 10% extra depreciation on foreclosures, because you don't